Hey everyone, welcome to the I Dare You podcast. This podcast is all about you, helping you reach the big goals that you have for your life and what next steps you want to take to get there. And I'm your host, Darrin Johnson. Welcome to episode 200. Episode 200. Let that sink in for just a moment. I know I am. When we first started this podcast back in 2022, I had no idea we'd make it here. My mentor, Bob Goff, who's been a guest 2 times in the podcast, he encouraged me to stop thinking about it and just do it already. Get out of my comfort zone. And here we are, 200 episodes later. I have turned on this microphone over 200 times. I've invited guests well over 200 times. I've done interview prep over 200 times, edited each episode myself over 200 times. And you know what? We're still not number one on the charts. We have not hit 1 million downloads. We're not making tons of money from this. In fact, we're making 0 money on this. But here's what I do know. Every single episode speaks to at least one person. I hear from that one person. And that person, this episode, might be you. So today, in honor of this milestone, 200 episodes, I want to share something special with you. We're going to look back at the top 10 lessons learned from the first 200 episodes of the I Dare You podcast. Now, these are more than just lessons that I've learned. They are lessons from our incredible guests that they've shared, lessons that I've shared in my solo episodes, lessons that I've learned while on the road sharing this content, speaking to thousands of you, and lessons that you've told me have changed your life. And if you're hearing this for the first time, brand new to the I Dare You podcast, lucky you. Welcome. You joined us at the perfect moment. Let's dive in. I thought about going from 1 to 10 or 10 to 1, and we're going to go with number 10 down to 1. Here we go. Lesson number 10, consistency is king. It is the foundation of everything else that we're going to be talking about. Small changes done consistently over time lead to transformational results. We're not talking about huge pivots. In fact, a huge pivot or a big lifestyle change immediately oftentimes will lead to failure. No, it's the small changes that lead to the biggest results. And how do you establish a new habit? Research shows that it takes 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic, not 21 days like we've all been told. No, that number is 66. That means you've got to show up consistently, even when it's not exciting, especially when it's not exciting, even when no one's watching, even when you don't feel like it. You see, the real magic on consistency happens in the mundane, repetitive tasks that we often overlook. The systems that we have, that trumps motivation every single time. Instead of waiting to be motivated to move, it's the exact opposite. Start moving and you will become motivated. So I got a question for you. What are you willing to do 100 times, 200 times, without recognition, without fame or fortune? Whatever that thing is for you, commit to doing it with everything that God has given you. Whatever your goal is in life, start small. Don't chase the temptation of starting big. Oh no, it's starting small and then be consistent with it. We need to trust the process and know the right habits and routines that will transform your life. So the lesson here, focus on small changes and then do them consistently. Now it's a new habit, it's a new routine, and it is a lifestyle change. Consistency is where it's at. Okay, lesson number 9. You cannot have it all, but you can have what matters. So this lesson, it comes from one of our guests, Bonnie Wan, and it's been a game changer for so many of you. The key is this: align your daily actions with your ambition and your values. And the most important question you're going to be asked maybe this year, what do you truly want? That's not a rhetorical question. I'm going to double down on it. What do you really, really want? Now, I'm not asking you what society says you should do or what your parents want for you, not what looks good on Instagram. It's what do you want? Maybe for the first time in a long time or the first time in your life. Then build life around what actually matters to you. In fact, design the kind of life that you want now. And here's the beautiful part. When you're living aligned with your values, you stop feeling like you're missing out. You stop having that feeling of what I call successfully discontent. You're doing really well with life, but yet you get this feeling like there's got to be something more. There's got to be something else. Is this all there is? If you ever ask yourself that question, that's because you're not staying true to your values and what you really, really want. Now, I know what you're thinking. When I focus on what I want, I'm being selfish. Let's reverse that. Both Sahil Bloom and Amanda Getz talked about this concept of the dimmer switch. That's the concept where it doesn't mean turning everything else off. It means that in different seasons of life, unapologetically, focus more on the things that matter most to you. And when you do, you're going to be an even better husband, wife, employee, parent. When you're not staying true to what you want, the ripple effect throughout your life, you can feel it. Now, a few examples from previous episodes. Chris Myers, who is a sports broadcaster, author, and a dad, he talked about how his prolific career of interviewing the most famous people in the world and covering Super Bowls and World Series and NASCAR, it truly, the resume just reads like just incredible. And I asked him what he is the most proud of looking back on his career. And you know what his answer was? It wasn't the World Series. It wasn't the Super Bowl. It wasn't his time at ESPN or at Fox. It was how he chose his son Chris's high school play over reporting a World Series game. Now, if you listen to the podcast, you know the end of this story. If not, I'll tell you that his son tragically passed away a few years later in a car accident. So to you, I'm asking, what is the World Series on your calendar right now that you don't think that you can miss? And what event are you sacrificing so you can take care of that professional commitment? What a reminder. What a reminder of how at the end of our life, you won't remember the business trip to Tampa. You will not. But you will remember the high school play. Now, here's the harsh truth you may not want to hear. Your calendar shows your priorities. If I could reach through the screen or in your car and grab your iPhone and look at your calendar, what would I see? Where you spend your time is the ultimate litmus test of what you value. You cannot avoid the harsh truth that where you spend your time shows what's most important in your life. And so the takeaway in this lesson is say no a lot more often so that you can say yes to the things that matter. Okay, now we're off to lesson number 8. I love this one. Probably one of my favorite ones. I don't know if it's the favorite, but means a lot. Use time as a weapon. Here's the reality. The scarcest resource you have isn't money or power. It's time. And if you are young, congratulations. You are a time billionaire. Here's what I mean. Would you trade places right now with Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world? No, you wouldn't. Why? Because Warren Buffett has a lot of money, but he doesn't have much time. You, however, have what he wants, but he can't get back. Time. The question is, what will you do with it? Simple strategies like time blocking your days for the most important things in your life, making appointments with yourself that you cannot break, exercise, family time, meditation, whatever it is, so that you can tell others, I have an appointment. I can't make that. You're going to time block every Friday afternoon to wrap up the week and plan the next week. How about your 12-month calendar? Looking 12 months out. You better have your personal priorities on the calendar, because if you do not, it'll be filled in by work, by other things that are not important to you. So make sure your vacations and key events, the family activities, you know what they are. You know the dates. Get them on the calendar. They are sacred. They're first. And right now, if you're thinking, that's easy for me, my calendar is wide open, it's empty, here's what's happening to you. Someone else is running your life. Every day, you're reacting to someone else's priorities for you, and you're letting it happen. My point? Protect your time like it's your most important asset, because it is. All right, now here is lesson number 7. Focus on your wellness. We have talked a lot on the podcast about healthspan, which means doing everything we can to delay and avoid the chronic diseases that shorten our lifespan. So what that means to all of us is to get in better shape. You see, when you're 20, everyone is in pretty good shape. When you're 30, yeah, you can still get by. You really can, unless you're really abusing your body. When you're 40, it's pretty obvious who has been or who is taking care of themselves. Have you noticed? And at 50, forget it. You can run, but you can't hide. The ultimate flex in life is being in great physical shape at midlife and beyond. That tells people so much about you and what you value, disciplines, habits, routines. I believe, and some of you may not like this, there's no excuse for letting yourself go. No excuse. If you can move, you should, because there are a lot of people who would literally die to be able to do the things that your body can do, and you're not using your body the way it was built and designed to be used. Another perspective, those of you that are married, the marriage vows are in sickness and in health. Remember that? Now, I believe, in fact, our pastor who married Michelle and I 36 years ago, that doesn't mean that you're here for each other only when there's a heart attack or a stroke or some chronic illness. It means taking care of yourself today and staying healthy now for your spouse. The message? Don't let yourself go. How disrespectful is that to you, but also to the person you love? Now, what about financial wellness? Focus on reducing expenses for sure and staying out of debt. That's a great strategy. But here is something we do not talk enough about. It's how do you earn more money? Now, if you talk to any business owner or entrepreneur, the number one thing that will cure all ills is sales. You can cut expenses all you want, but if you're not bringing money in the door, it's tough to live the life you want. Now, today in 2025, we're living through an affordability crisis. We're all in it. So here's something I want you to reframe. How can you make more money? One of the best ways to have financial wellness is to marry the right person. Did you know that married couples typically accumulate substantially more wealth over time? In fact, studies show that married individuals often have double the net worth of single people by retirement age. Another way to earn more money, look for the right side gig to grow your income. It's never been easier to have that side gig. Did you know that 71% of Americans right now are looking for ways to earn additional income? 52% of all millennials right now, they do have a side gig. And on average, they earn, according to Forbes, $12,400 per year. So this is the trend that's already happening. Along with that, get the promotion or look for a new job that pays you more. If you're tired of the 3% merit increase that your company is giving you, not valuing you, well, then look for a new job, because as soon as you then leapfrog to another role, you will find that you can grow your income by substantially more than by staying loyal to one company. Now, there's also benefits, obviously, of staying loyal to one company, but there are ways to earn additional income. Look for it. All right, here's lesson number 6. Know why you're chasing what you're chasing. Here's what I want you to do. Pen and a piece of paper, write it down. And don't just write the target or the goal. I want you to write the reason. I want you to ask why until you hit a value that you would defend, even on a hard day. Maybe it's more freedom, a bigger impact in the world, to be that dad that leaves a legacy for your family. You see, when your goal points to what you value, you're going to run smarter and you're going to quit less and you're going to be bulletproof. Then you can prioritize the right things without guilt. Pick your season, name it out loud, align your schedule to it, your calendar. It's about knowing your values and why you're doing what you're doing. For all you type A people out there, it's a lot of you. Ambition that you have is a gift. It is such a gift when it is aimed properly. When you point it at the highest leverage actions, not the loudest distractions, and you practice and schedule real recovery time so that your best ideas can catch up with you. And if you have never thought about what is your why, it's a tremendous exercise. And here's how. Ask why 3 times. With each answer, ask, why is that important to you? So that you can do what? It's that simple. And if you're prepared to do that in a quiet space, ask why 3 times. And with each answer, ask, why is that important to you? You will uncover what matters most to you and why you're chasing that thing that you're chasing. Here's a quick example. Let's say you have a goal of earning an additional $1,500 a month. That's a good goal. Does it give you goosebumps? Probably not. But that is why you're doing it, to earn $1,500 a month. Why is that so important to you? So that you can do what? So that you can have more money at the end of the month. Why is that so important to you? So that you can pay the mortgage on time. Why is that so important to you? Last one. So that you never have to look across the kitchen table and see the look of fear in your wife's eyes. Now we're getting somewhere. I challenge you to spend time today and ask yourself, what is your why by doing that exercise? You know, one of my favorite animals, in fact, I'm recording this in my studio downstairs in my home, and within eyesight, I have a picture of a cheetah. The cheetah is one of my all-time favorite animals. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. But that's not the real story of the cheetah. Fastest land animal, but they also sleep for 14 hours a day. They know when to sprint. They also know when to rest. And when they wake up in the morning and they stretch and they look out on the horizon, do you think they just get up and run? No, they don't. They wake up and their eyes are locked on the horizon. They're looking for what they are going to be chasing. And when it's time to run, they are lethal. And that's what I want for you to do as well, all the while knowing what you're doing matters. All right, here's lesson number 5. Change your identity, then your habits will follow. We have it all backwards. We're trying to change our habits so we can create a new identity. It's the opposite. Change your identity and your habits will follow. Here's the key. You focus internally, not externally. Don't just set goals. Become the type of person who achieves those goals. So let's say you want to lose weight. Well, then don't just focus on the scale. Become a healthy person. Live a healthy lifestyle. You want to write a book? Don't focus on the word count. Become a writer. And that's how you describe yourself to others and how you talk to yourself. I am a writer. You want to be a better leader? Well, don't just focus on the title or the corner office or getting new business cards. Become someone others trust and follow and has influence. You see, when you change who you are at the identity level, the new habits will just stick because they're not something you're forcing yourself to do. They are who you are. And the labels that you choose for yourself, they are so important because they shape your trajectory. Now, here's one of the most important questions to ask yourself. How do you talk about yourself to others? And how do you talk about yourself to you? The self-talk that you allow yourself to tell yourself countless times per day, because the brain is always listening and the brain will try and reinforce what you were saying. If you say, I stink at math, the brain got the message. Or I suck at public speaking. Perfect. The brain got the message. The next time you speak in public, it's not going to go well. The reframe is, I'm getting so much better at public speaking. I'm preparing more than ever to be a great public speaker. Or I'm the Navy SEAL of customer service. There is no one better than me. Or I'm the type of dad that has the relationship with his kids that when they are adults, they're going to want to hang out with me. So here's the takeaway. I want you to get clear about who you are. Who is this mythical future self we keep talking about? Don't just wait 10 years and magically hope you meet this person. You know who that person is. You know the person is you want to become. Now, start acting like that person today. What's stopping you? All right, here's lesson number 4. Your mindset, it is a battlefield. You know, one of Pat Benatar's biggest hits was the song Love is a Battlefield. But actually, your mindset is the true battlefield every single day. And here's why. One of my favorite quotes is from my friend and mentor, Bob Goff. The darkness doesn't need to destroy us. It only needs to distract us. That quote, it really resonates with me because I do believe the darkness could easily demolish us and destroy us pretty quickly. But that's not nearly as fun as watching us every single day get up in the morning and never quite tap into our God-given gifts and talents, never quite understand our purpose, to never quite feel like we are doing what we need to do here on this earth. You see, the more distracted we are, We focus on the wrong things. We doubt ourselves. We allow limiting beliefs to take over. We compare ourselves to others. We allow negative self-talk just to loop in a narrative again and again. We allow others to control our calendars and our time. And you know what they have planned for us? Not too much. Now, are we busier than our parents? I think about that a lot. I don't know. But I do know we are certainly more distracted than our parents. So here's my point. There's a battle for your mind and your thoughts. You need to guard against it. You need to practice a technology sabbatical, 1 day a week or 1 hour a day. You need to listen to the right things, avoid doom scrolling, and unfollow people who are bad for you. You know who they are. They trigger you every time you see them. Unfollow them. I've said this before, but it bears repeating. You are the average of the 5 podcasts that you listen to most. You're the average of the books you read, the people you surround yourself with. If you hang out with people who are overweight, you're going to be overweight too. If you hang out with people who have a scarcity mindset, your mindset, scarcity. If you hang out with people who don't exercise, neither will you. My point is choose your inputs intentionally because they shape who you become. And I want you to be ruthless about protecting your inputs and do not let your guard down. Your mindset is a battlefield. All right, lesson number 3, we're getting closer to number 1. Number 3, avoid the drift. No one ever drifts to a place they want to go. Have you noticed? Now, we've had several episodes ask you to think about the you plus 10 years. It's you plus 10 years from today. I've got an exercise for you and a question. Right now, if you change nothing in your life, what does you plus 10 years look like? Do you have that person in mind? If you change nothing, and for some of you, it's perfect, and I commend you for it. Others of you are saying, whoa, wait a minute. That's not what I intend for myself 10 years out. But here's what we know happens to us. If we do nothing after the age of 30, did you know that adults typically lose 3 to 5% of muscle mass per decade without intervention, without changing it? And this accelerates after the age of 60, when the rate can increase to about 1 to 2% per year. However, look, that's not a death sentence. You don't have to just manage the decline as you age. Muscle loss is not inevitable. You can do strength training and adequate protein intake, ramping that up. Did you know the average American gains about 1 to 2 pounds per year after age 40? All right, let's say it's 2 pounds. I'll be a little more dramatic. You're 40 now. 10 years from now, if you do nothing, on average, you are going to be 20 pounds heavier. You like that? So I think you're connecting the dots that we do need to take steps and habits and routines that get us to where we want to go, and it can't be 10 years from now. Oh no, it has to start today. Here's a quick exercise to help you channel your thoughts in the right way. What is your ideal day? That is not just a lazy question. What is your ideal day? I want you to write it out or sketch it out. Use all 5 senses as if you are there. You wake up in the morning. Who's with you? You look in the mirror, and what do you see? How do you feel? Oh, the sun is rising, and you feel a warmth on your face. You hear the birds singing. Where are you? You're in a city? Are you in the mountains? I want you to go further. What are you doing? Who are you with? And now, as you think about your ideal day from morning until night, I want you to compare that with your current state. Now, where's the gap? What do you need to change so that you can actually live your ideal day, not just one day, but you can live it again and again? You see, you just walked into your roadmap to change. Your future self, that version of you 10 years from now, that version of you living your ideal day, it is begging you to double down on the right habits, to set boundaries, to do the things you know you need to do. And don't wait. If the average lifespan is 80, and it is, how many summers do you have left? I'm almost 59. That means that I have 21 precious summers left, if I'm average. And like you, I'm doing everything I can to make sure I'm above average. And I know you are too, but don't ever forget that we are not here forever. What are we waiting for? This is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. We need to start acting like it. It's always amazing to me that when we realize that we will be here on average only 80 years, how we do not act with more urgency and consistency on the very things that we know we need to do. And I'm with you on this. I don't have the answers, but the very fact that we're not being more urgent is fascinating to me. All right, lesson number 2 is your comfort zone, it is killing you. Now, this is the lesson that keeps showing up episode after episode, guest after guest. It's that sensation of having sweaty palms. It's that feeling in your gut when you're doing something new and different. If you have not felt that in a while, I'll bet you also feel stuck, discontent, like there's something else you should be doing. I would contend that you also feel bored. Do you see the correlation in your life? I can think of times in my life when absolutely, when I had not felt that feeling in a while, felt like I was wasting my life. One of the things that I've never talked about in public or on this podcast, I mentioned this to my wife, Michelle, and you're next. Part of the reason that I do this podcast is that I need the challenge. And to you, what challenge do you need to tackle? For me, every single day, I get scared. I get the sweaty palms, that feeling in my gut. A new podcast guest I've never met before. I get on Riverside, which is the equivalent of Zoom, and I'm sitting there 5 minutes before the podcast is about to begin. I've never met this person, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. Suddenly, ping, it shows someone is trying to get in the Riverside room. And I click the green button, and we are live. And that's part of what you see and hear on the podcast. And that is nerve-wracking. It's scary. On-stage presentations, I do on-stage trainings all around the country, and it is terrifying. If you were to join me backstage, you'd be seeing me doing incline push-ups or breathing exercises. It's frightening until you get into it. Writing video scripts, I'm nervous for that. Being on camera, on videos, it's uncomfortable. How about a husband and a dad? I face challenges that I don't share with anyone. And guess what? You do too. But here's the lesson. This discomfort, this fear, it is not a stop sign. It's a compass that is pointing you toward growth. When you start feeling that feeling of fear, nervousness, that is excitement, but it also shows that you are over the target. It doesn't mean run. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying jump out of an airplane without a parachute, but I am saying if you've not felt that feeling lately, you're missing out on growth. And that growth lives on the other side of that discomfort. So feel the fear, acknowledge it, thank it for trying to keep you safe, and then do it anyway. You know, recently I saw an interview with Tom Cruise. He was on the red carpet doing an interview for the latest Mission Impossible movie. And the question to Tom Cruise was, how do you overcome the fear of doing your own stunts? And he thought about it. He said, I embrace the fear. It's there. I feel it. And then I take action. And there's a lot of wisdom in that. So here's my point. It's your comfort zone that is killing your dreams. And I want you to consider that the biggest thing holding you back from taking action and chasing the goal that you have on your mind right now, it may not be fear, but it's your very own comfort zone that's keeping you right where you are. It's that warm embrace of your comfort zone. It's killing your dreams more than fear ever will. So get uncomfortable. And finally, here it is, the number one lesson from 200 episodes. Drum roll, please. It is, action is always the answer. And one of my favorite quotes is, the magic you're looking for is in the work you are avoiding. Stop thinking. Start taking action. Finding your purpose doesn't come from just standing idle. You've been thinking about something for 15 months. You have, so have I. When in just 15 minutes, we could take that first step. So let's do it. Let's stop the narrative loop. Stop overthinking. Stop waiting for permission or the perfect moment, because the perfect moment will never arrive. Your daily actions, no matter how small they are casting votes for your future self. It's that identity. And every action, to James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, his quote, every action is a vote for the person you wish to become. You want to be a writer? Then write, even if it's just 100 words. You want to be healthy? Well, then make one healthy choice today. You want to be a person of integrity? Keep one promise to yourself. You see, the person that you're becoming, it is built on one action at a time. Every action counts. Every choice matters, because the transformation happens when we move from thinking to doing. Put a shot clock on your goals, whatever you're after. Don't let this drift into next year. Put a timestamp on this, that in the next 15 minutes or 15 days, you are going to take the action that you know you need to take. Okay, everyone, we have covered a lot of ground in the top 10 lessons in the first 200 episodes of the I Dare You podcast. Now it's time for your I Dare You challenge. First, reflect and then recommit. I want you to look back at where you were when you first started listening and celebrate how far you've come. And then I want you to look ahead. Who is your future self 10 years from now? I want you to write that out. Future me in 10 years is what? Write that out. And then I want you to answer the question, what actions can you take today that your future self will thank you for? And then I want you to take one action this week, just one. Pick one of these top 10 lessons and put it into practice immediately. Don't just consume this content. I want you to use it, transform it, let it work for you, and let it change you. All right, that's your I Dare You challenge. That's what I dare you to do. So here we are, everyone, episode 200. When we created this show in 2022, I wanted to encourage people to focus less on who they weren't, the shame, the regret, and focus more on who they are becoming. And I hope that's what these 200 episodes have done for you. The I Dare You podcast, it is for people who believe that they are here for a reason, and they don't want to waste their time and talents playing small. It's for doers. It's for people who are making a difference and want to learn from others who also are making a difference. And I believe that you are here because you want to leave a legacy and do more, but you're also grateful for what you have. You see, these aren't mutually exclusive. You can be grateful and ambitious at the same time. And I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for following and sharing the podcast with your friends and family. Thank you for all the DMs and the messages, the stories that you shared with me about how these episodes have impacted your life. You've heard me say we're growing rapidly. And you have to also know it is all because of you. The show doesn't happen without you. So now, if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram at I Dare You Pod. That's where our community is just thriving. Free resources, video snippets, and a place to connect with other people who refuse to play small. And a place to connect with me as well. I respond to all my DMs. Take me up on it. And if you want my Friday email with thoughts and takeaways that you can put into action, simple. Go to www.idareyoupod.com, sign up, and you're in. I will not abuse the privilege. That's it. Episode 200. Thank you for celebrating this milestone with me. It's been a lot of fun. I could not have done this without you. And we've got another incredible guest lined up for episode 201. So I'll see you back here next week. Until then, remember, the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Take action. Embrace the fear. Get out of your comfort zone and move forward. I'll see you next week on the I Dare You podcast. I'll meet you then.